What's up guys, it's KatoKin here, and I'm here today to teach you guys how to get better at fighting games. So a couple of days ago I fought a Zoe player and he wanted to get matchup experience in the Belial vs Zoe. So after we got done fighting, I ended up giving him some tips on how to get better in that matchup. You know, do this and do that. But I felt like I was doing him a disservice because I was giving him the necessary methods to fight Belial, but I didn't necessarily give him a tool set to getting better progressively as a player. And that's no good, because even if he did get better fighting against me, he maybe necessarily wouldn't get better against another Belial player or in another matchup. So I'm here today to teach people how to lab effectively and how to get better, because that's what fighting games are all about, practicing and getting better. But most people don't know how to get better, and there aren't a lot of videos talking about labbing. It's a lot of show and don't tell. So I'm here to show and tell.
Why don't we start?
So what does it mean to get better at fighting games? How do you get better at fighting games? It's been my experience in my 3 years of experience, more recently this 1 year, that fighting games are about problem solving. So essentially what's going to happen is you're going to fight people, and then you're going to run into things that give you problems. And the way you get better is by figuring out a way to deal with those problems, or found a way to counter. It's called counterplay. Counterplaying those things. And when you tend to do that, you tend to be able to beat those tactics, and you get to your win conditions easier, and you're able to win. And then that's how you get better. Alright, so I'm also here to address some misconceptions about fighting games now that I've told you what they're about. So some misconceptions with fighting games are they're all about reacting to everything, mashing buttons, or they're about just miscellaneous things like that, things that just aren't true. Fighting games for the most part are games that are about knowledge, counterplay, and outplaying the player. And those things are mostly deeply rooted in your understanding of fighting games and your ability to learn and get better at them through gaining more knowledge on them. And it's not about raw reacting or talent or any of those type of things. Those things do play a role, but their role isn't as large as people would think they are. People who mainly think those things about fighting games usually, let's put it in a word, it just aren't as knowledgeable about fighting games, and they just have a lot of misguided misunderstandings of their experience in fighting games. A large part of that is due to there not being many good teachers in fighting games, and the nature of fighting games being 1v1. It's very hard to teach someone when you're beating them and trying to take criticism. It gets blurred, the line gets blurred very easily. But yeah, fighting games are about knowledge, counterplay, and outplaying the player. So then, to piggyback off my first section, how do you get good at fighting games? What is the point of training mode? The point of training mode is to take problems back that you experience in matches, is to take them back to the lab and then figure out an answer to them. Most players just autopilot and play matches all day, and then they think at the end of a session they've gotten better, or maybe in a couple weeks they wonder, I've been playing matches, I've been playing the game all day, why haven't I gotten better? Well, the reason why is because you're not practicing anything, you're not solving any problems, and you're not learning. That's the reason why you're not getting any better. If fighting games are about problem solving and gaining knowledge, then it's very rare for you to gain knowledge when actually playing the game, at least meaningful knowledge that lets you solve your problems effectively. That usually doesn't happen for most people, and for the people that it does happen to, it takes them years and years and years to be good at fighting games, because it's very hard to gain usable knowledge to fix your problems when you're in a stressful environment like such as fighting in a match. So it's much more conducive to you getting better if you were to just figure out what your problem is, figure out the moves that are giving you problems in training mode, and then take them back. Figure out the things that are giving you problems in matches, and then take them back to training mode and figure out how to beat them, rather than just grinding matches. So what would effective labbing look like? In the next few clips, I have a few examples of problems that I used to have. One was with Fairy's dive kick, one was with UL's backdash on wake up, and one was with Sora's muscle fury. Check it out, see how I dealt with it.
Hear my call, Colonel! how you feel? You're getting on my nerves. The claws are out. Out of my way. The claws are out. You're such a tease. You ready for this? Yes. Batter up. Asmodeus misses. Buckle up. The little death arrives!
So basically, I just showed you the process of labbing, essentially, for like things that you're having problems with. So now I just want to give you some more miscellaneous tips and guides and tricks and things and whatnot. So, for example, tier lists. A lot of beginners and intermediate players talk about tier lists. Tier lists don't matter unless you're at like the highest level of play. It's really just about learning your character at lower levels. So I wouldn't even that wouldn't even be a thing I would worry about. Another thing that I kind of wanted to go over is the mindset of why you need to lab, or why you need to get better, or why you even need to play to learn. The mindset of labbing is that you need to lab because you're trying to get better. You're essentially building a skill, and the only way you can build on that skill is if you get more knowledge and more practice. And the best place to do that is training mode. Like there are a lot of players who are in the mindset of they're playing to win, or they're too prideful to go to training mode. And the problem with that is you don't learn. Playing to win stunts you from learning. The only people who should be playing to win is the highest level players, or if there are like exceptionally large pool, like prize pools where you're trying to win. Other than that, you should really just be playing to learn and have fun. And the way you plan to learn is by gaining knowledge and fixing your problems, using training mode and labbing, and even rewatching your VODs. So with those things in mind, I wouldn't worry about trying to beat people or playing to win, because the problem with doing that at lower levels is you start to gain bad habits. You start to rely on strategies that will not work at the higher levels, that'll keep you stunted and it'll keep you frustrated. Like a lot of people in Street Fighter are stuck in bronze or gold because they refuse to lab, they refuse to learn and get better and stop autopiloting. And that's not because there's something wrong with them or they're deficient in any way. It's just they don't have the knowledge, they don't have to know how to get better because nobody taught them how. And so like that's why I'm here, to help you with that. So yeah man, just go to the lab, fix your problems. And this is mainly for intermediate players to higher level players, or higher level intermediate players. But the truth is, if you're like a brand new player, don't even worry about this. Just play for fun, just have fun casually. But when you do feel like taking the game more seriously, I highly recommend labbing, asking others for help, and reviewing your VODs too. So those all of those things help, but the main thing is labbing, take notes, get good. And finally, for the players who don't like the lab, who actively don't lab, the only reason why you wouldn't want to lab is because you don't find it fun, or you're too prideful to go to training mode. And the problem with that is you're gonna take more L's that way in the long run that you don't end up learning from, and that's no fun for anyone. The 5 minutes it takes for you to lab and figure something out would be worth 1,000 matches of you playing and trying to figure it out in a match. It's really not worth the salt. It's not worth the saltiness of playing all those matches and then being angry and still not getting better, rather than we could just go to training mode and spend 5 minutes and like get in. The only people who spend a long time in training mode are the people who are very dedicated, or they have very hard characters that they want to master, but it's not necessary. But at the same time, the best players in the world tend to usually spend a long time in training mode. Sonic Fox himself spends at least 5 to 6 hours in training mode. I remember one time when he was learning the Vor, he spent at least like 10 to 18 hours trying to learn the setup. So if the best players in the world are labbing for that long, then think about what you're doing. You're not even labbing at all. Like, it's not, it's just, it's obvious why you're not getting better. Not trying to down talk anyone, but the proof is in the pudding. Well, that's really it from this video. These are all of my thoughts regarding how people can get better at fighting games. I just really only seen a few videos out there talking about labbing, and with that, nobody really showed how they lab or what they do for the most part. They didn't really go through the whole like process. I can do more in depth on that in the future, but this is applicable to any fighting game: Tekken, Street Fighter, Grand Blue, Virtua Fighter, DOA, Guilty Gear. It doesn't matter. Labbing in any game will help you, because the truth is, it's just about solving problems and gaining more knowledge on the game. Most players make the mistake of playing the game autopilot, playing matches all day, and they think they're getting better, but that's not the truth. You play matches, and then you lose, and then you try to figure out why you lost, and then you go to training mode, recreate it, figure out how to beat it, rinse and repeat. And that'll work for you for a long time, even up at the highest levels. It takes a long time for that to stop becoming effective, and then you have to take another approach. But for now, just worry about labbing and getting better, having that plan to learn mindset, and you will get better. So matches, training mode, that's what you need to do. But thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you later.